Okay, I'm going to mix my cement, and for this job I'm going to mix 2 parts sand to 1 part cement, and this is just multi-purpose Portland cement, nothing special. I like to mix my sand and cement first before I put water in. Okay, that seems to be mixed up fairly well. Now I'm going to add a little bit of water. Now we want this mix fairly thick. You don't want it too runny. So I'm just going to put a little water in at a time. And if you happen to put a little too much water in at the first, you can always add a little more cement, sand later to thicken it up. Hey, I've added a little more water and it seems to be coming to the consistency that I'm looking for. You want it to be, moist, but you want it to be able to pack it in like that. That's a good consistency right there. That'll be a good strong cement. Just put that in the house. Okay, I got my wife's gardening tool again. And the first thing I like to do is to put cement around the drain. Just start around the drain. You can start wherever you'd like, along the edge of the drain. And just try to pack it in there. I got tuck tape covering the top of my drain just to keep cement from going down in there. Just pack that in good. Okay. Now, go along the edges. As you can see, I've drawn a black line here, so I know my thickness. Now, just work that into the corners. Okay, I mixed up another batch with a wheelbarrow full. And if you have to mix up a couple batches, try to do them fairly close together. You don't want to be going for toss or anything. Okay, once you get that roughed in, just take yourself a straight edge. I'm using this board. Put it on your drain and just see where you're at here. And just kind of saw it back and forth. Okay, once you've gone around it several times with a straight edge, knocked off the high spots and filled in the hollow spots, just take your trowel and just kind of pull the edge. So now it's just a matter of troweling it smooth. So take your time, and whatever you do, don't panic. Okay, when you're troweling this, if you see a little dip, you can throw a little cement in. And don't worry about your trowel marks. I'll show you how to fix that in a minute. I'm not using a proper tool for this. This is a for laying tiles. It's kind of small for this job, but there. And remember, don't be too fussy. This is only a shower pan in the base coat. It's not a piano or anything, so what we want to do is make sure that our bevel goes towards the drain. So I'm gonna check that right now. Yep. So our bubble is flowing towards the drain. Now, like I said, don't worry about these trawl marks. I'll show you how to fix them. Just take a damp sponge and just lightly brush across. It leaves a nice textured finish, which is okay for our base coat. Okay, my concrete has set up overnight and it's hardened up really good. I've trimmed the plastic vapor barrier off around, cleaned it up a little bit. Now I'm just going to scrape it with my cheap trawl I have here, just to take some of the any high spots or ridges that could be left on there. And it's simple to do. Oh, that's loud. Where's my earmuffs? Now just a warning, this concrete is still green, so don't hit it with a hammer or anything trying to chip anything off. Just scrape it with your trawl. It's good. Okay, I've scraped it pretty level, and I've cleaned it off the shop vac. Now I just want to check my dowel here. I wanted about a 1/4 inch bubble. And good that way. So good all around. Everything's running towards the drain. Excellent. So now what I have to do, I'm going to put some blocks in here and I'm going to build my curb up. Okay, I cut my blocks. These are just some ends I had left over from another job. And I always pre-drill these toenails. I'm using 3-inch galvanized. You don't have to use galvanized, but that's just what I have on hand. Then I just take some construction adhesive. PL stuff. This will never let go. The wood will give way before this stuff does. Just put it in place there. Okay, I got my first 2x4 cut for my shower curb, and again I like to screw the ends of the board, or drill the ends of the boards just so they don't split on me. Just put that in there. Oops, it's not right. What's going on here? Those bolts are up there, probably about an 1/8 or a 1/16. Oh shoot. Okay. I'm going to have to just put a hole in for each one of these. Let me see. Yeah, I drilled a couple of dimples in there, probably about 1/4 inch, not much, just to allow for that. Oh, that's better. I got my other piece of 2x4 cut. I'll fit that in there. Now you got to remember when you're doing this, you want this curb to bevel in just slightly into the shower, so any water that goes outside the curtain will want to run into the shower, not on the floor. So let me just check the level here. It's just right on. It's right on level. So what I've done is I found this. I was ripping some hemlock the other day, and I had this little piece left over, and I measured. It's a 1/16. So think that'll be plenty to raise this edge up. So I'm gonna glue that there. Just put a couple of spots. Yeah, put that right at the edge. Now, see how this sits. Oh yeah, just a slight bevel, just enough to keep the water running into the shower. Okay, I'm ready for my liner, and rule of thumb is you want to be a couple inches higher than your curb, and my curb is 3 inches. So what I did, I measured 6 inches here, so actually I'm 3 inches above my curve, so that's plenty. Okay, I got my liner in here now. First thing I gotta do, I gotta take this tuck tape off this drain. Okay, after you remove the tuck tape, it's a good idea just to stuff a rag in this hole, just so you don't lose anything down the drain. Now you want to put your screws back in. And don't turn them in all the way, just part way. We want them sticking up a little bit. Okay, now I've gone and measured this, and it's 5 feet. So I found my center, and I marked the center on the wall. So all I have to do is just line those marks up. I'm just using old shingle nails that I had from the last roofing job I had. Okay, once you get that tacked up there, shove this back in. What you want to do is your fold has to face up. You don't want it so the water can run in through. So take the one running down the side, fold that back in tight, and then shove that in. There, like that. And you have your angle running that way so the water can't get in through here. And what I like to do is to stick a piece of 2x4 in here. Now if you do this, make sure you sand your edges of the 2x4 off so you're not going to stand a chance of tearing your membrane here. Okay, let's get it laid out. Here's good. Now, nice and smooth. We want to find our screws. There they are, right there. Now, be careful with this. You don't want to cut any more than you have to. Sure everything's back in nice and tight. Then find your screw and just make a little X. There. There's one. And my last one's right here. There. There. See your drain. In there. And turn that. There. Now you don't need to put any silicone in there. It's just not needed. That's pretty tight. Okay, tighten these down and don't go crazy on it. Just tighten it down. You feel it go snug. Okay, to do around this curve, which can be a pain in the ass, what I like to do is I just take my scissors and try to cut that fairly straight. There. Now, tack the rest of this down. Okay, now we're going to cut that liner in there. Space it around the edge. Pull a rag out. Now, right there's. Okay, I got my cement mixed. I made it about the same consistency as I did with the base layer. Now with here, there's a couple of drain holes here, just some like little weepers here. Water does get past your drain, it'll go down into the drain. It won't go past this. So they like for you to put some gravel in there. So I just got a little bit just around there just to keep the cement from clocking the little weep holes. Oops. I'm going to put some tape over that before I start. There. That'll just keep, just in case. Keep some cement over there. Okay. Now just kind of try to squeeze it in there. Just gonna throw it along the edges. Now, with your hands, shove these corners back. Make sure you got a bucket of water handy. Okay. Just be careful when you're using one of these because the ends are sharp. They could cut the membrane, so just take your time and try not to damage anything. I think I need a little more cement back there in that corner. Okay, I've trawled it all off. I've checked my bevel and everything's running towards the drain, which is good. So now I'm going to rough up the surface. And first I'm just going to go over it lightly with this sponge just to collect any excess moisture. Okay, now that I got everything mopped up, a lot of the water lifted, I'm going to take this little brush because I want to rough this surface up. I don't want to have a slippery surface for my shower. So what I do is just brush this towards the drain. I'm not putting tiles down. It's just going to be the cement. Put a sealer on the cement, or I might paint it. Yeah, just clean what cement you can off the drain. There, now I'm going to let that set up overnight. And in the morning I'll take and scrape that down the same as I did with the base coat. And then we'll be on with the plumbing.